Hey guys, Mike G here, and welcome back to another discussion, and we are going to revisit more Godzilla 2018, and we're going to get back to Mothra. Yes, let's talk more Mothra. The second most popular kaiju behind Godzilla in the Toho universe, not as a kaiju in general. Gamera is right behind Godzilla, in my opinion, but Mothra is up there, and, my thoughts about Mothra... I'm not really that excited, actually. I'm kind of disappointed. And it's not that I hate Mothra, guys. It's just, if you really think about it, she's had her own movies in the 60s, and she's had her own trilogy, and she's been in, 7 Godzilla movies, and now she's in this. And it just shows how popular she is in Japan, so it makes a lot of sense for, Legendary to look at her and say, well, she's pretty popular here, and we'll make a lot of money if we choose her. Let's take her in! So that's what they do, and I'm just kind of disappointed because there's a lot of other great kaijus to choose, like Batra, Hedorah, Gigan, who else? There's a lot of them. There's so many kaijus to choose from. Destroya, come on, Destroya, there's a lot of them. It's really disappointing to see that they, once again, just chose a kaiju that has been in so many Godzilla films. And in the majority of the films that are versus films, if you do think about it, Mothra's been in most of them. She was in Sea Monster, she was in Versus Mothra, in 1992 Versus Mothra. She was in GMK, SOS, and Final Wars. And that's a lot of movies. If you do really think about it. And now, this new 2018 movie, if they have all 3 kaijus in it, we really don't know if they're all in it. I'm just going to say there are, because it makes a lot of sense to give homage to Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster. So, here's what I'd do. So, I would set it back a long time ago, obviously, because that's the way Gareth is representing Godzilla and the Mutos, so it makes sense to put them a long time ago. And, I would make it to where that there was a big population species of Mothra, and they roamed the earth, and it was a beautiful, graceful place. And by the way, I got this idea from the Rebirth of Mothra trilogy from Rebirth of Mothra 3. If you have not seen it, it is amazing. But anyway, so there is a species of Mothra. And by the way, I'm still trying to figure out Ghidorah's origin, but Ghidorah shows up. And he is the predator of the Mothra species. He is hunting weaker game. Now, I know a lot of you fans are going to get really ticked off because I said weaker game, but the reason I say that is because the majority of Mothra films, and when Mothra does fight, she dies most of the time. I'm sorry, but it's true. She has died in the Rebirth of Mothra trilogy, and there's only 2 movies I could think of right now that she has not died in. That is Rebirth Mothra 2 and Godzilla 1992. Those are the only 2 movies that she has not died in. Well, actually, Rebirth of Mothra 2 was Leo Mothra, but it still is Mothra. She just dies all the time, and it makes sense to me to make her the weakest predator because she's been represented as a peaceful Aphrodite, not really as a violent creature, not really as a powerful creature. She's just represented as a goddess and an Aphrodite. And when it comes to looking like an Aphrodite, she should look beautiful. This species of Mothra should be gorgeous and beautiful with beautiful colors, and I think this is why the tribe that is on an island, which I will talk about in just a second, worships her because she looks like an Aphrodite, and they think that she's a guardian. So what happens is that since these species are going extinct now because of Ghidorah hunting game, and while other monsters like Godzilla and Rodan really don't mess with Ghidorah because he's really like the strongest one, he's the top-notch predator, there is a larva that cocoons herself, and she gets trapped in something somehow. And on this island, this tribe doesn't only know about Godzilla, and yes, there was a tribe that told us about Godzilla, but they also know about the rest of the monsters like Rodan, Gigan, Ghidorah, and Mothra, and they actually worship Mothra. They have the Mothra symbol, they still have the chant song somewhat, maybe you can upgrade it or have a new chant, and they are waiting for her to cocoon and hatch. they're waiting at the perfect time for her to awaken and become the guardian and the new balancer in front of Godzilla to take over Godzilla's place and become the true guardian, because she is our goddess and Aphrodite. And I'm not saying she's going to be magical or anything, guys. I'm just saying that that's how she should be represented, because she's been represented that as always. But anyway, and who I think should lead the tribe to give homage to Mothra is two twins that lead a tribe. They are two old women or two young women that have taken their mother's place. Or maybe their mother had a twin too, or whatever. It just carries on the family trait, I guess you could say. And they think they're twins because, and through their family line and genes, is because of the Mothra species. They think that they are responsible for the Mothra species, that they need to take care of them and make sure that, whatever. And I want Mothra to hatch. I don't want her to be a larva at first. I want her to be a larva at the very beginning of time, and then she cocoons, and then a long time after when she evolves, because she's going to evolve, and that's when she's free. But what happens is that Ghidorah returns somehow. I'm trying to come up with a way for that one. Now, what's going to go on in this film is that Mothra isn't really going to cause any violence. She's going to be trying to survive. She's going to be trying to get away from King Ghidorah her best. And the thing about how Mothra is going to survive, I think this is a good idea, is to give her really high intelligence, make her a very intelligent creature, and make her very defensive, where she has good things up her sleeve. She has things up her sleeve. Good examples from GMK. You remember those little spikes that she shot out of her butt? You can have that in there, and you could give her like a stinger, or she could spray acid, or I just think stuff like that is good for her. I don't really want her to be a very magical creature like she's been represented as. I don't want her to have like a flying flame attack or some kind of beam. I just want her to be normal but looking like a goddess. And here we go. This is what made fans really mad in the last video, was the fact that I said Mothra is going to die. And I say Mothra is going to die. Yes, I think Mothra is going to be killed by King Ghidorah. I think the reason is because Ghidorah is the biggest monster. He is the biggest threat in the film, obviously, and it would make sense. It would make sense for Mothra to die. And I don't want her to die right away. I want her to give Ghidorah at least a good battle and trying her best, and then she dies. To just to make it seem like that, hey, it was worth it. She tried her best. And you can make it very emotional. By the way, I don't want to see two other larvas, by the way. Don't want to see that at all. But anyway, so she dies. She dies by the hands, or, wait a minute, he doesn't have hands. By Ghidorah, whatever. So, that's what I do. That's what I would do. And another reason you can have is that now she's going to go find her mate or something. Maybe it's about Batra. I don't know. That's another idea, too. Go check out my Batra What If Legendary Chose discussion on that to get more on that. It's great. It's a legendary Toho kaiju, very popular. I understand why they chose her, and I understand. And the cool thing is, too, I actually like this, is that if they do this, I don't know if they will, but is a reimagining of Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster. I think that's really cool. I think going to a Destroy All Monsters route was a little too much right now. I think Biollante should be the main antagonist for Destroy All Monsters and not Ghidorah. Just saying, because obviously she's the biggest kaiju, and it makes a lot of sense to make her the main antagonist for a Destroy All Monsters route. But I like this direction. I just don't like the fact that Mothra was chosen because others could have been better, but I don't mind it at all. I think it will work. If she's in it, then fine. So, that's all I really have. She's not going to be too weak, and she's not going to be too tough. I think she will be a good kaiju. It's not my favorite choice, but oh well. What do you guys think of Mothra in the comments below? Please talk about Mothra. And, that's all I really have. There's really nothing else to say. So, the next monster that we will be talking about next week is King Ghidorah. And once again, I'm very sorry if this was short. Mike G off your screen. I'll see you guys soon in the next video. See you guys soon.